Hi guys! Today I'm really excited. Okay, I'm always excited, you're right. But let's say today I have even one more reason to be excited because for the first time in the history of the Electronic Corner, we're going to deal with EBM music. Before I introduce you our guest of today, let me remind you Electric Delights, the only radio show that lets you discover electronic music in a journey through time and space. The link is in the description below. Now the time has come. Waiting for us is Jim the Blaster, who is one half of the Greek band Preemptive Strike 0.1. Let's go. Hi Jim, good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. How are you?
Hi, Sergio. I'm very glad to do this video interview because it is the first time that I do such a thing in my life as regard my band, and I'm really well.
Yeah, well, that's great, and I'm really grateful, that you accepted to do it because some people actually refused, let's say, this interview exactly for that reason. They said, "Oh no, 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 I don't dare to be in front of the camera and being interviewed." I said, "Well, okay, but I mean, you're a musician, you do live. That shouldn't be a
Yes,
problem."
of
But
course.
of course, I do understand and respect everybody. Also, the language sometimes can be a problem, so don't worry about that. I'm sure you'll do great. And well, I would say let's start immediately with the first question, which
Okay,
is, what is the meaning of that zero point 0.1 in your band's name?
okay. First of all, I would like to explain you what means preemptive strike. Preemptive strike is an attack against an enemy in response to an obvious threat or attack by that enemy. Because this means you are afraid about an attack, and so you give them the preemptive strike. And when we 20 years ago uh, we tried to find a name for our band. First of all, we found the Preemptive Strike, and then we said, what if a band there is another band with the same name, and we have right because there was a band with the name Preemptive Strike, and they play punk. So we should this time we should find something to add to make this name unique. So we found 0.1. That means two things. The one is that it is the first strike, and the second is something more complicated, and it is the binary language of the machines or the computer, that is 0101, etc.
Okay, good. Thanks for this interesting explanation. Actually, I would have never thought of that. Now, your latest full album was released in 2019. Then, after that, you released a mini CD the year after that, a cassette with 6 tracks in 2021, and then 2 digital singles in 2023, so this year. Can we expect an album soon, or are you planning to keep releasing just singles?
Yes, I'm very happy to announce you that in 2 months from now, and about in the end of October, we will release our new album with the name Defense Readiness Condition 1 in the German label Infacted Recording. So, as we in, we signed to Infacted, they asked us for 2 singles, and we release these 2 singles firstly, and then we deliver them the album. And as I said, in 2 months it will be out in physical form.
I see. So it was not your decision, the 2 singles. But I do understand. I mean, from the point of view of the record company, because they say that, like, 10 singles, one per month is better than one album with 10 songs because of visibility factor. You're much more visible if you do like that. As somebody who listens to music, I don't like this thing, but I can understand the point of view of the record company. So I don't know what
Yes,
you think about that.
if we talk about two singles, yes, that is okay. But more, uh,
You also would
but
not be happy.
yes, but we did what label asked for.
Okay, good. Now, since we mentioned these two singles, they see the collaboration with Paradox Obscure. So, can you tell us about the origin of this collaboration, like who contacted who and how the thing developed?
Yes, I met Kostas for the first time 8 years ago in one of our gigs, and then I knew about his bands, and Paradox Obscure is for me the best project of him. And firstly, last summer, we would like to have some female vocals in one of our tracks, and we thought about Crystal Ann, and I sent him a message telling him that I want some guest vocals, and that was the first part of our collaboration, and it worked perfectly. Then we signed at the end of the year to, in fact, the recordings. And when they asked us a digital single, asked us to have two remixes or some unreleased songs to the singles. And I thought again, Paradox Obscure. So I contacted with Costas again and asked him a remix, and she accepted at once. And as I knew, she did the remix with the totally old school way. She used only hardware, and she used only my vocals, nothing else. So she told me that she put the play rec, and all the machines played at the same times with my voice. And she recorded this remix, and I'm extremely happy with the result. It's something unique. So I'm very happy with this collaboration. From time to time, I have again contact with him. We are friends,
Yeah, that's good.
and
You're lucky to.
I would like the next time that I will go to Athens, I will go to his studio and to see him.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a good idea. That's something
this
one
month.
day I hope I can do that too. In fact,
Yes,
now
I saw in your last
the
episode
interview. Yeah,
interview with Paradox Obscure, his studio live.
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
impressed.
That's why I fell in love with it. So
Okay.
now tell us, is your collaboration with Dimitris Douvras and Vlad McNeely still going on?
No, because as regards Dimitris Douvras, she was our producer from the beginning since 2019. Then the production and the mixing and the mastering uh, took care Yiannis, my partner in the band. She's a sound engineer as well, and he has all the appropriate machines to make productions. She's not using only a computer, but many machines. to do it. As regards Vlad Magnini, is for me the best designer in the whole scene, because whatever you have in your mind for the front cover, she's able to do it for you. And but now we're in fact at recordings, and the designer that has this label is Axel Pixelbrid, that made for us our last front cover. And Vlad Magnini is the designer for DVA Records, our previous record. But both of them, Dimitris Dubras and Vlad Magnini, is the best at their kind.
I see. Okay. Now, some years ago, the band's opinion about Spotify and, let's say, the streaming platforms in general was not very positive. Have you changed your mind in the meantime, or you still think it's not a good thing?
Yes. As a fan of dark electronic music, I'm very old school minded, and I have many vinyls and CDs, a huge collection. And when I hear music, I prefer the old school way. My turntable, CD player, and so on. But as regards my band, now I have to admit that the young people prefer Spotify or streaming platforms. So we should accept it. And but as a fan, I will continue to listen to music the traditional way. So our label uses also Spotify and other and all the other platforms. So we should accept it.
Yeah, sure. So from a business point of view, it makes sense, but
Yes.
personally, you're not a fan of
No,
these
I
services.
don't
Yeah,
have a Spotify
you don't have Spotify at all.
subscription. No,
Okay,
no.
I see. Now, you make EBM music, as we all know, and I was wondering, is that your way to release like anger, frustrations, or other kinds of feelings, or you just happen to like this genre so much that you decided to make music in this style?
Yeah, I would say both. And I would like to release anger and dark feelings and such things. But I like EBM and dark electro music as well very much, and always wanted to be a part of the scene, and that's why I decided to play that kind of music for both reasons.
I see. Okay. Now, let's talk about your creative process. How does it work in the sense of like, do you have a song in your mind first and then turn it into music? Or do you start playing with your gear until something sounds so good that you decide to build a song around it?
This is my favorite question. And first of all, my partner Yiannis sent me all the music as the scenes, and then I add my parts. So first of all, I add my drums, and I would like to show you my machine. I use this Yamaha sampler, and uh, I write the drums in this machine. and then I have to add the sample. I use this portable sampler, and I connect it with cables with my DVD or YouTube to take samples from movies, mainly science fiction movies. And then I put the samples into the songs after the drums, and then I write the lyrics. I can't write lyrics without having the samples, because my ideas are into the film that I sampled, and I write the lyrics, and then it's the time for the vocals. So I would like to show you something more. Yes, and this is the machine that I use for the vocals, and then the song is ready. Sometimes, sometimes Yiannis comes to my house, or I go to him. He lives about 1 hour from here, and we change ideas each other. That is the process. And in the beginning, some of our band, I use also this synths, Yamaha CS6. He sent me the midis, and I will put some sounds. That's it.
Well, but I know that at least for some time, you also incorporated traditional Greek instruments in your music, which is quite unusual for EBM. So I was wondering who came up with the idea and how did you use them?
Okay. The idea is mine. Well, it was mine, and this happens for the first time in 2009. And I have the idea to put the Greek bouzouki in some of our songs. So I found a guy who played the bouzouki, and he lived in our town. So I talked with him, and we decided what to do. And then I took off all of my machines and went to his house and record him. This we did this in two of our records, and he was very talented for what he did. And then we decided that we have to do something better and more strange to the EBM music. And we decided to find a guy who played the lira, the Cretan lira. And I found this guy. She lived in Athens those time, and she listening to metal as well. It was
Interesting
very seldom.
combination. Not so
Yes,
easy to find somebody who plays the lira and listens to heavy
very
metal.
very difficult, because uh, lira is a traditional, very traditional instrument, and has a total different ideology be, behind it. And the metal is another thing. But I found this guy, and she recorded in another studio in Athens. The recordings were very difficult, because it's difficult to record this instrument. But I think that the result was fantastic, and we did something very unique. But after 2015, we decided to stop this kind of sound, and we returned back to the roots, back to dark electro and EBM. That is the story.
Thank you. Now, you showed us already the machine that you use for your vocals, and I happen to have a question about it because I like the distortion effect on your voice. So I would like to know how you obtain it. So it's like through bit reduction, clipping, some other kind of artifacts, or so how does that machine work, let's say?
Okay, let's I use this machine and I recorded my vocals with the following way. I use two microphones. I connect the one with this machine, and I put only the distortion and the compressor effect, and I connect the other microphone directly to my sound card without any effect. So I send to Yiannis two channels, the one with the distortion from this machine, and the other one totally clean. And then she puts all the other effects to the clean channel, like pitch shifter and delay, reverb, and whatever it needs. And then she mixed the two channels, and this is the result that you hear. And I use the screaming technique. I scream behind the microphone, and
Okay, so not
you
not the
hear
whisper. You don't use the
no,
whisper
no.
technique.
I used the whisper technique to my first two albums, and the results not were not so good. To whisper is the easy way, but
Yeah, the result is not worth then that. Okay. Now we have reached the final question, the one about the what I call studio demonstration. Then, of course, each artist decides what to do. I know this is something that Yiannis took care of, so I'm really looking forward to see what he has prepared for us. So let's watch it now.
Hello, this is Yiannis Disek from my home studio. This is where I create music for my projects and Preemptive Strike. My main setup is this one here, a Virus TI desktop version, a very useful synth with very deep menu, very flexible, 16 channels simultaneously. I also use an Arturia keystep MIDI keyboard. Another synthesizer I use is this one here, a virtual analog Waldorf micro Q version synthesizer. I like it a lot for pad sounds and Atmos. Different color than this one here, the Virus, so it's very nice when I manage to blend them. My sound cards here, two RME Fireface 400. I have linked them with ADAT to sync them and use them as an aggregate device as one sound card actually inside Logic. But I use this setup when I improvise and have simultaneously multiple synthesizers plugged in and multi-track recording them. Another synth here, a Minitor, a Moog, very nice, different color, analog. So when I produce from Preemptive Strike, for example, I do some MIDI programming. Here is a pattern, a MIDI pattern for an acid kind of sound. I send this pattern, this MIDI, through MIDI or through USB as I am right now connected, because Virus has this plugin here and directly connect the DAW through this plugin with the hardware. Very useful. So, for example, if I want to record different takes of this pattern and tweak the sound real time, I do this thing here. Okay, I have armed here my channel and do some recording here, and then tweak the sound real time. You can hear how the sound changes. Some basic filtering here. So, as I told you, I do different takes, do some editing, and take the final result which I am satisfied with. I give much importance to the quality of the sounds, especially on my drums and bass sound, in order to do as little as possible work in the mix process. The mix process is done here in Logic. Okay, I use different plugins, EQs, for example, dynamics like compressor and other stuff. Use those Logic plugins and other third party like FabFilter, which I like a lot, or Ozone, Isotope. So this is how things work here. Okay, that's it, most of it. The basic idea of how things work. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Yiannis, for this, and of course, also thank you, Jim, for your time and patience. We had some technical troubles, not depending on us, so we had to do this interview something like 3 times. But you did great, even though it was the first time, as you said, that you were doing a video interview. I hope that I have not scared you after this experience, and
No.
that you. No, it was okay. Okay,
I'm very happy of what I did. Yes, indeed, it was my first video interview. The only thing that I was afraid was mainly my English, but
No, you did pretty well. Don't worry. Everybody is able to understand you, so spot on. Thanks a lot again, and well, maybe see you another time. Take care.
yes, can't wait to see the final result. So yes, I would like to thank you once again, and goodbye.